Over this thing, I'm gonna get it closer.
No, be careful because the cable is taped down to the ground.
Yeah, I think we should go.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. No, it's just we just have to restart it. No, it's like one paragraph. Hi everybody. Hope you're enjoying your dinners. Feel free to keep eating or just have a resume our programming. But yeah, so keep doing what you're doing. Um, okay, what's coming up next is our keynote speakers. I think we can all agree that this year has been a particularly challenging one. We have concerns about the pandemic, politics, truth and reconciliation. This year has been unlike any other year. Every year at our annual general meeting, MCIS invites keynote speakers who present experiences and knowledge on relevant topics as a means of encouraging discussion over social justice issues and inspiring thoughts among our attendees.
This year, MCIS is honored to have our very own Veronica Costa, Nicole Anacini, and Nicole Fiorillo as our keynote speakers. Without further ado, please help us welcome our speakers to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I absolutely need to start with just saying how grateful I am to be here today, reconnecting with old friends and meeting some new ones. It's really actually wonderful to finally meet in person colleagues that we've been actually working with for quite some time now and didn't actually have an opportunity. And over the years, I have worn many hats at MCIS, but today I am wearing the hat of a language rights advocate. And I'm here to talk a little bit about how we have journeyed from removing language barriers to upholding human rights. And together with my colleagues, Nicole and Nicole, we want to share MCIS's journey of language advocacy. So I will start by sharing my version of the story of language advocacy at MCIS and how the very nature of an identity of our organization has evolved through this journey. And then Nicole will share stories that illustrate the impact that we make on people and communities. And I'll come back at the end with a little call to action. So the simplest way that I can summarize our language advocacy journey is that it is truly synonymous with the journey of MCIS. A journey in pursuit of uncovering and articulating with more and more clarity the part we play in upholding fundamental human rights and bringing about social change. So where did it all begin? Well, It actually began not far from here in Scarborough. Multilingual Community Interpreter Services started as a fully funded program in 1989, with a small group of 25 interpreters working in 8 languages to support immigrant women in abusive relationships who, because of language barriers, were unable to access help and support. The program was so successful in responding to a deep need in the community that in 1995, MCIS incorporated as a nonprofit organization to offer the service on a more permanent basis. And here's the oldest picture I could find, and that's because the older ones are in paper format and currently in the office where we can go and get them. However, this is an older picture. And on the right, or the left, my left, your right, I've included an excerpt from our letters patent, and that's basically our incorporation document from 1995. It's the birth certificate of MCIS. And you can see already there that from the very, very beginning, our work was about enabling access to critical social services. But to make this work sustainable, we also knew from the very beginning that we needed to build sector capacity through training and also build awareness among service providers on the importance of working with professional interpreters. So the seeds of language advocacy were planted in that 4th point there from the very beginning. And these objectives stayed with us for a long, long time, eventually articulated into the vision. We are committed to a world where people can interact as if there were no language barriers, and the mission. We will ensure by removing language barriers that people of diverse ethnic and linguistic backgrounds are able to communicate effectively. Now, 1989 to 2015 is a pretty long time, and of course, nothing stood still. Lots of things happened in that period. MCIS started growing steadily and organically, with more and more languages added to our initial pool of 8, more and more language professionals trained, more and more different types of language services, and more training programs. Advocacy efforts were also paying off, with more and more service providers realizing the benefits of working with professional interpreters to serve their clients. Our fee-for-service program was born because service providers started asking for interpretation services to assist not only survivors of domestic and sexual violence, which was covered by our funding, but their other clients facing language barriers. And so a key milestone for our fee-for-service program was the year 2006, when our first major contract, a fee-for-services contract, was signed with Toronto Public Health, and we are proud to still have them as our customers today. So by 2015, we were clearly established as a nonprofit social enterprise with fee-for-service programs allowing us to generate the revenue to support offering the services that benefited more and more people. And defining ourselves as a nonprofit social enterprise also came with challenges. The fundamental question arose of how do we grow our business, allowing us to make a greater impact on more people, while also staying true to our community roots and our identity as a nonprofit. So with this question in mind, in 2015, we embarked on a project meant to clarify who our beneficiaries are, the type of impact we wish to make in the world, how we measure it, and how we think we can achieve it. And these conversations brought into focus some new ways of framing the change we wanted to see in the world. And we started talking about linguistic access and about how this connects to human rights. In the end, in 2016, using the theory of change methodology, we redefined ourselves in a way that was more reflective of who we had become, fully embracing this much bigger role of leading the sector with our advocacy efforts, engaging with partners, and building capacity through our training and engagement programs, in addition to offering our core language services. We were also contributing to a new way of doing business that attempted to reconcile business practices with social justice objectives centering around human rights. So in 2016, we launched our revised vision to connect people globally through languages, and the revised mission to improve access to critical information and services through high-quality language solutions. And this is moving significantly towards seeing language not just as a barrier that separates, but but as a precious gift that can serve to foster connection among people and communities. This also positioned us as an organization that creates a clear, specific, positive impact in our communities by supporting access to information and services that people need in order to ensure their health, safety, well-being, and full civic participation. And then March 2020 came, and in true MCIS fashion, that's a picture taken on our last day in the office where we still managed to squeeze in one last birthday cake. But then, little did we know, we thought we're gone for a few weeks. And the next time we kind of got together was in a very different setting and about a year later. So yes, COVID happened. And while the fear, anxiety, confusion of those early days in the pandemic may have subsided, and we have all adapted as best we could to everything that has happened since, it is clear now that the world has fundamentally changed, and there will be no return to any sort of pre-pandemic normal. So I guess we have all been faced with the question of where do we go from here? And NCIS is no exception. So for us, the question was, how can we show up in the world in the best possible way for one another, for the people and the communities we serve, especially at this time that has revealed more than ever what an essential service we offer, but also more intimately how fragile we are on our own and how much we depend on one another. So we were faced with the existential questions. What matters to us? Why do we even exist? What is our purpose? And this is what happened next. I'm going to ask Cheryl to play the video. So we exist to uphold the human right to be informed, heard, and understood. This simple statement clarifies and encompasses the essence of NCIS's journey so far, and it is also an invitation to write the next chapter of this story together. This is letting go of our limiting beliefs and perceived contradictions, embracing our interconnectedness, and using our moral imagination to redefine our spaces, the language industry, the nonprofit sector, as purpose-driven ecosystem where business growth supports and fuels the positive impact we make on the communities we serve in a self-perpetuating virtuous cycle. This is our way of trying to make our contribution to solving some of the toughest challenges that are playing out globally, but that are also impacting our local communities in very real, immediate ways. And this brings us to the present moment. Armed with this new statement of our identity and why we exist, the next part of our journey is looking deep inside at what we do and how we do things, and ensuring that our purpose is embedded in everything that we do, that all our decisions are guided by it, and all our actions support it. So I am very much looking forward to sharing all of that with you, but that work is just beginning, so that may be for next year. And now I would like to invite my colleague, Nicole Anakini and Nicole Fiorillo, to share some of the ways in which we are already manifesting this purpose through our Social Benefits Initiative program, as well as our national language advocacy efforts.
Thank you, Veronica, and hello, everybody. Echoing what Veronica said, it's so nice to be able to see everybody after all this time. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicole Anakini. I've been working at MCIS for a little over 5 years now, and I've had the pleasure of managing the translation department for the last 3 years. Personally, I was drawn to MCIS, as I'm sure was the same for many of you here today, by the idea of the organization's drive to have a positive impact on our communities. And throughout my time here, I've been lucky enough to work alongside our wonderful social impact team and get knee-deep into some of these impactful initiatives that MCIS has led. And that's why I'm here today, to tell you a little bit about these initiatives, and most importantly, highlight and recognize the amazing work everyone in this room has done for these initiatives. I think it's safe to assume that everybody here today has some sort of tie to settlement, whether you work for a settlement organization, you work for MCIS, you're a freelance interpreter or translator, or maybe you've accessed settlement services yourself. You're gonna have some degree of understanding of all the barriers that someone faces when they're settling into a new country. Whether it's trying to sort out OHIP coverage, signing kids up for school, trying to find a job, etc. And of course, this can be even further complicated if you aren't fully proficient in English or French, or even if you are, and all the documents you need from your home country are neither in English nor French. So of course, this is where language service providers like us come in. MCIS's goal for the last 33 years has always been to remove language barriers and to improve access to critical information and services through the provision of high-quality language services. Around 2015, we started having conversations like, yes, we're breaking down language barriers, but what else are we doing? Oftentimes, there are financial barriers that need to be broken down before one can think about breaking down a language barrier to be able to access this critical information and these critical services that I'm talking about. And high quality language services cost money, and not everybody who needs these services have the means to pay for them. So in the 2015-2016 fiscal year, we established our Social Benefits Initiative Fund, or what we usually refer to as SBI, since you know we love our acronyms at MCIS. So I'll dive into this SBI fund a little bit more in a moment, but first I wanted to paint a picture about what I'm saying here when I say that financial barriers need to be broken down before the language barriers can be. So, for example, in 2021, the average cost of a translation project for an individual applying for free translation services was around $520. For someone earning between $10,000 and $30,000 a year, that translation could be costing them between 2 and 5% of their income. And 40% of our SBI applicants reported their income to be below $10,000 per year. Someone on Ontario disability could be earning a maximum of $1,200 per month. So that $520 translation could end up taking up almost half of their monthly income. So unfortunately, sometimes language services that could be greatly needed have to be put on the back burner simply because they're like a luxury good. Or if they absolutely need to pay for the service, other essentials may have to be put on the back burner. So getting into our SBI fund, this fund redirects a portion of our revenue surplus to allow us to be able to provide free language services and to invest in language advocacy initiatives. This way, we can provide these services to people who need them, but we can also compensate our language professionals fairly for their work. So each year, portions of this fund get allocated to translation, to interpretation, and to training. So I'll start by getting into the translation-related initiatives that we put on for SBI. So the main initiative that we run through this fund goes to providing free or subsidized translation services to both individuals and organizations who either cannot afford or do not have sufficient funding to pay for the services. Examples of individuals who have been recipients of free translation services include mothers fleeing abusive relationships and trying to get custody of their children, refugees fleeing their home countries due to war, or because they're receiving death threats because of their religion, sexual orientation, or their occupations. Newcomers to Canada who need their diplomas from back home translated so that they can find employment. People trying to get their driver's licenses, enroll themselves or their children in school, access legal support, or obtain their citizenship or permanent residency. So on the slide here, I have some quotes from our free translation applications. So jumping into interpretation, for the most part, our free interpretation services are provided to organizations that provide services to limited or non-English speaking individuals. These interpretation services are mostly immediate over-the-phone interpretations when an organization needs quick access to an interpreter to help them serve a limited or non-English speaking client trying to access their services. But they can also include scheduled interpretation services to assist with appointments, workshops, info sessions, and more. These organizations that receive these free interpretation services include food banks, shelters, women's centers, settlement services, community centers, and other social service or community organizations. And on this slide are some quotes from these organizations about how the service impacts their communities. Some of these organizations also receive free translation services to help us to help promote and provide information on the support and services that they provide. And over the last few months, it's been exciting for us to see some of the organizations that we have previously provided free translation and interpretation to coming back to MCIS, able to pay for the services. I believe is a result of the advocacy work that you'll hear about from Nicole F. and Veronica shortly. And now these organizations are being able to secure budgets for language services. And what's even better is that this results in a ripple effect, where we are able to generate greater surplus, meaning we can allocate even more funding to the provision of these services. And last but not least, I'll talk about some of our training initiatives under the SBI Fund. As you know, every year Canada welcomes tens of thousands of refugees, many of whom will require support to get settled into their new lives here. In response to the Rohingya crisis between 2006 and 2020, over 1,000 Rohingya refugees resettled in Canada. With such a small Rohingya community here, many of these refugees were facing challenges accessing services, as many did not speak English and there weren't any staff or settlement workers who spoke their language, and a shortage of Rohingya interpreters. So MCIS has offered 10 scholarships for Rohingya here in Canada to take our interpretation training for free and help bridge that gap. Additionally, we've been working alongside Across Languages and the Language Access Coalition of Canada to develop an LSAT test for the Rohingya language, which will be ready by the end of this year. And this will allow these Rohingya interpreters to gain professional recognition within the sector and to assist their community with their settlement here. Along the same lines, with Afghanistan facing a humanitarian crisis, over 20,000 Afghans have made their way over to Canada since 2021. And of course, with any increase in newcomers comes an increase in interpreters needed for these newcomers to be able to access critical services. To assist with this, we've provided free interpreter training to 25 Afghan newcomers, many of whom are refugees themselves and arrived in Canada between fall 2021 and spring 2022. These students all speak Dari, Pashto, and or Farsi, and have a wide range of educational and professional backgrounds, including journalists, activists, teachers, and some who have already worked as interpreters. The thing I find amazing about our training initiatives is that the impact is twofold. This free interpretation training helps newcomers secure employment here in Canada, and it also allows them to help other members of their communities to break down the language barriers and access critical information and services. So in terms of what's next, on November 26th, we'll be holding a free translation clinic at the 519, where LGBTQIA+ folks can come and get their documents translated on the spot, and translators can have a chance to meet some of the people who benefit from their work face-to-face. We look forward to continuing these initiatives and hope to start or get involved in others as the need arises. We're always open to ideas and suggestions on what we can do to make sure limited and non-English speakers can access critical information and services with as few barriers as possible. If any of this resonates with you, we encourage you to share your ideas, get involved in these events and initiatives, and even share them with your connections and communities. And finally, to close, I just wanted to thank everybody here, to our board of directors for governing and guiding our organization, to our MCIS staff for coordinating these projects and making sure everything runs smoothly, to our customers for enabling us to do this by trusting us for your language service needs, and for providing these important services to these communities. To our translators, interpreters, and training facilitators for fulfilling these assignments and running these sessions. Everyone here plays a role in helping us break down these language barriers so that everyone can be informed, heard, and understood. And without all of you, none of this would be possible. So thank you. And now I'll pass this off to Nicole Thurlow to talk to you about the advocacy work being done by the Language Access Coalition of Canada.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Pirillo, and I'm the Policy Outreach and Social Purpose Specialist at MCIS. I had the pleasure of joining MCIS earlier this year, and I'm just so thrilled to join such an incredible time for advocacy for language access. So as Nicole had mentioned, MCIS advocates a portion of our SBI fund to Language Advocacy Day. As our social purpose statement dictates that we exist to uphold the human right to be informed, heard, and understood, we have made it a priority to advocate for language rights as human rights. MCIS sits alongside 30 amazing organizations and individuals who advocate for language rights under the Language Access Coalition of Canada. I will begin by providing a bit of background of how Language Advocacy Day came together in 2021. So partially inspired of the 40 years of continuous effort for the United States-based Joint National Committee for Languages, and partially by advocacy that was already happening in Canada, the primary objective of the 2021 gathering was to build an informal coalition of language rights advocates and stories from across the field to coordinate collective advocacy efforts across the political spectrum as we met with MPPs. The long-term objective was to establish an ongoing language policy forum to explore the role of languages, official, Indigenous, and newcomer within the context of social justice and economic recovery. On the 4th of February, we had our first Language Advocacy Day. We also organized our Language Rights Conference with 2 panels and a festival of short movies, attracting close to 250 attendees from all over the world. And from there, the Language Advocacy Day evolved to what we do now as the Language Access Coalition of Canada. This year, we kicked off our work in January, and several members of the Language Access Coalition of Canada met with NDP MPP Dali Begum to share stories and insights regarding language access issues in the province. From there, we met with MPPs from across all major parties in the province, and we presented our 4 asks for policymakers to be prioritized and implemented. First, we asked for an active offer where everyone in public service settings gets asked what language they would like to be served in, and this would be especially crucial in hospitals. Second, to have February 22nd proclaimed as the Day of Language Access. We would also like to mandate having language services available posters using the national interpreter symbol, posters in all public offices. We would have the resources for all public announcements to be signed on both ASL and LSQ. Increase advocacy for the importance of French as one of our official languages. Increase resources put towards Indigenous language education and revitalization. These 6 core asks shaped our advocacy for the year, and on February 22nd, 2022, we welcomed our 2nd annual Language Advocacy Day celebration and the 2nd Language Rights Canada Conference, which was sponsored by MCIS. This was the flagship event for all Canadian language advocates interested in issues relating to language justice across the spectrum. The purpose of the event is to convene various nonprofit agencies, language professionals, language enthusiasts, and artists working together at the intersection of health, housing, food, gender, distributive and environmental justice, among others. The impact of COVID-19 on the global and Canadian economy and the pressure that created on health and social services and the language industry sector were unprecedented. And in that respect, language access, particularly related to emergency and health communication over the past 2 years, became crucial and essential, and it was an important component of achieving Canada's commitment to justice and diversity, as well as mitigate the risk to public safety and critical information systems. This conference was an incredible success. At MCIS, Language Advocacy Day was a day of celebration. All office duties were on hold and urgent duties were being attended to, so almost all of our 60+ staff could attend the conference. The event included a keynote speech from Brody Fenlon, who is the Executive Director and Editor-in-Chief of Daily News and CBC News. And we had 4 incredible panels that explored topics of grassroots advocacy, mental health, and language, Indigenous languages in Canada, sign languages in Canada. A talk from Dr. Elaine Gold from the Canadian Language Museum, and a message of support from all MPPs of major parties, and in closing remarks from MPP Dolly Bacon, who announced that she would be supporting a private member's bill to declare February 22nd as Language Advocacy Day in Ontario. And as I mentioned before, that was one of our core asks. Although we achieved so much in that one conference to advocate and spread awareness towards language access, our efforts did not end there. As we had put the issue of language to the forefront of all MPPs ahead of Ontario's June election, our advocacy efforts began to unfold in a meaningful way. Our platform recommendations for language access were present in electoral platforms of both the NDP and Green parties, as well as the Liberal Party, who took our recommendations specifically as they related to French language access. The NDP committed to declare February 22nd as Day of Language Access, to establish a language access strategy, including the Language Services Available Here campaign, and to promote awareness. The Green Party made commitments to the platform to ensure that interpreters and translators that were properly funded, improve awareness of their availability, ensure that government's announcements would be signed in ASL and LSQ, and to provide nonprofits to the tools to have proper French language resources. We were thrilled to see the progress that LAC had made in Ontario, and we set our sights to expand work in other provinces. We were able to connect with language advocates across the Canada, and now we have new members in Alberta and New Brunswick who help us begin new chapters of our advocacy work across Canada. We were also involved in other exciting events this year to raise awareness to language advocacy issues. In June, we hosted a panel which was sponsored by MCIS and recognized as a World Refugee Day event, Interpreters in Times of War. This event featured the stories of war interpreters from various angles who have worked in crisis and war situations, and they discussed the challenges they have faced and the importance of staying connected to each other in times of crisis. We also had the privilege of hosting a panel for the PROS International Translation Day conference. The objective of the session was to explore 3 unique approaches to advocacy. One was a grassroots advocacy angle that included tips and tricks on how to build a coalition and influence government platforms and policies. The second explored how community agencies and nonprofits could become agents of social change. Finally, the session explored Indigenous language revitalization as advocacy through the unique contribution of museum exhibits and the significance of connecting the Indigenous agenda to all other language advocacy efforts. We achieved so much for language advocacy this year, and I cannot wait to see what we'll achieve next year, especially as we approach Language Advocacy Day 2023 in February. So keep that in your calendars. I'm excited and I'm certain that this Language Advocacy Day will be better than ever, especially with the involvement of this entire MCIS community that's here tonight. And now I'm going to pass it back to Veronica, who will tell you a bit about advocacy at the global level.
Thank you, Nicole. So all the work that we have just showcased is also placing us at the very center of an emerging global language rights movement. And I'm so incredibly proud of MCIS for being one of the founding members of the Global Coalition for Language Rights that formed in early 2020 with the aim of bringing together organizations and advocates working at the intersection of languages and human rights. The greatest accomplishment so far of this coalition was organizing Global Language Advocacy Day, which was in part inspired by Canadian Language Advocacy Day, And this was a tremendous success with 7 live events on 4 continents, 6 publications and 4 social media campaigns happening over the course of one day, February 22nd, Language Advocacy Day. We are now excited about the 2nd edition of this event, and I would like to share another video.
Hello everyone, my name is Veronica Costian from Canada, and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Global Coalition for Language Rights.
Hi everyone, my name is Gerald Roach, and we are the Global Coalition for Language Rights.
Ciao a tutti, I'm Lucio Bellulo, and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Global Coalition for Language Rights, and I'm based in Madrid.
We are the Global Coalition for Language Rights, a group of individuals and organizations working at the intersection of language, digital, and human rights. Our goal is to raise awareness and advocate for language rights of all people. By coming together as a global community of practice, we hope to help create proactive responses to social, educational, economic, and environmental challenges in relation to language. Our aim is to engage in a global conversation that will allow us to find ways to solve this challenge.
Ikikere mmadụ nwere ịghọrọ asụsụ ọ ga-asụ bụ ikikere mmadụ nwere.
La linguistique, il y a un droit humain.
I diritti linguistici sono diritti umani.
Hello, this is Arando from American. We decided to join the Global Coalition for Language Rights because we believe that all voices must be heard. We ask the interpreters of a decisive role in
My name is Sydney, and I am a member of the Global Coalition for Language Rights because I support its mission, language rights for all people, because language rights is human rights.
So a few years ago, my dear friend Judy, who is a dear friend to many of you, I'm sure, shared this African proverb with me. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. MCS has come a long, long way, and we could not have come this far over the past 33 years if we had tried to do this alone. The work that we are proud to show you today is the result of the work, passion, and dedication of hundreds, if not thousands of people that have accompanied each other along this journey. It is an honor and a privilege for me personally to be one of them, and I'm grateful to be on this journey with each and every one of you. Thank you all for being part of the global language rights and linguistic justice movement. And if you're ready for more adventures, ready to learn some more, if you want to make a difference, if you want to make your voice heard, or lend your voice to those who are forced to remain silent, please join us. You can engage with us on social media, you can join our upcoming events. You can share your ideas. We always love new ideas and generally go right ahead and take them on. And here's how you can reach us. Thank you. Thank you to our speakers for such an engaging and informative presentation. Please email us your questions at Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at ncis.on.ca, and we will get back to you shortly after the event.
I hope everyone is enjoying their evening. We will now have our first performance of the night by Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao is a Mandarin interpreter. In 2014, she passed the ILSAT test and has been working for almost 10 years for MCIS. She comes from mainland China and now resides in Toronto. And today she would like to play a traditional Chinese instrument called 葫芦丝, and the song's name is called Tea Fragrance China. Thank you, Chan. That was a wonderful performance, and what a unique sounding instrument. Yes, we're now at 8:30. Let's have another 10-minute break. I believe dessert and coffee is being served, and we'll resume at 8:40.
Give me a leg, give me a leg. Give me a leg. Too tall for everyone. Go, now on your knees. Who's hitting the I'm gonna take a selfie. I'll take my camera. Wait.
I see. You guys are IT, right? Yeah.
Hi, everybody. We're going to resume our regularly scheduled programming, but if you're in line, feel free to stay in line. Yeah. We're going to get the last segment of the evening started, which is awards. Now, since its inception in 1989, MCIS has evolved into a model social enterprise, providing over 50 services and solutions in over 300 languages. We have grown into a successful social purpose organization that is committed to the protection of human rights and diversity and supporting social justice. And all this has been the direct result of contributions from each one of you, including our staff, board members, volunteers, interns, partners, and of course, our language professionals.
So tonight, we will present awards in 6 different categories. Votes were cast for each of the categories by MCIS's team.
The first award of the night goes to the Training Facilitator of the Year. The Training Facilitator of the Year is awarded for outstanding professional contribution in removing language barriers by guiding trainee interpreters and translators to meet their goals and achieve their objectives. This individual is dedicated to excellence in teaching, passion in passing on the knowledge and skills of language professionals, and respect in the classroom. The nominees are Hind Sak and Elizabeth Martinez. Amal, our training, delivery, and vendor relations supervisor, will come up and present the award.
And the winner is Elizabeth Martinez. Dear Elizabeth, your amazing personality, professionalism, and extraordinary knowledge made you the best facilitator of the year. Thank you for being part of our team, and thank you for leading our students towards becoming outstanding language professionals. Your incredible dedication and hard work are an inspiration to us all. Congratulations.
The next award we'll present is the Translator of the Year Award. The Translator of the Year Award recognizes outstanding contributions in translation and measures responsiveness, reliability, and technical skills. The winner is selected based on the nature, the diversity, and the complexity of the translation work completed in the past fiscal year, and consistent reliability to MCIS assignments. The nominees for Translator of the Year are Adriana Jerkic, Dro Le, and Rahi Usabi. Nicole, our translation manager, will present the award.
And the winner is Adriana Jerkic. Dear Adriana, Your thorough attention to detail, responsiveness, and thoughtful translations made you the Translator of the Year. Thank you for being part of our team, and thank you for your continued dedication to removing language barriers for MCIS's clients. Congratulations. Me again, sorry. Finally, we have the Interpreter of the Year award. The Interpreter of the Year is presented to a professional interpreter who demonstrates excellence in services delivered, steadfast dedication to MCIS and the language industry, and professionalism in the field. The Interpreter of the Year is a person who MCIS can always depend on for assignments and receives constant positive feedback from our service providers. The nominees are Francis Kushner, Anna Rottenberg-Grunfeld, and Pilar Jerome Gomez. And Judy, our Client Services Director, will present the award.
And the award goes to Francis Kushner. And of course, as none of them can be here this evening, our presenters are accepting on their behalf. Dear Francis, thank you for making such a valuable contribution to our vision to connect people through languages. We all truly admire your incredible knowledge, professionalism, and dedication as an interpreter. Thank you for the incredible work you do, and we're looking forward to many more successful years with you. Congratulations.
We will now move along to our partner awards. So our first partner award for this evening is for Community Partner of the Year. The Community Partner of the Year award is presented to partner organizations that have collaborated with MCIS in its advocacy efforts to advance learning rights and improve access to critical information and services for specifically vulnerable populations that experience language barriers. The award for Community Partner of the Year goes to the Canadian Language Museum. Nicole, our Policy, Outreach, and Social Purpose Specialist, will present the award to Dr. Elaine Gold of the Canadian Language Museum.
The Canadian Language Museum was established in 2011 to promote appreciation of all languages in Canada and their role in the development of this nation. They do incredible advocacy work through their museum exhibits, such as sign languages, Indigenous languages, and most recently a new exhibit on Chinese languages. This museum does incredible work to educate on language access issues in Canada and language education. Giving Tuesday is coming soon on November 29th. Over 50% of the museum's income comes from individual donors. The museum depends on us to keep the museum running and keep the cost of their exhibits low and help to continue educational exhibits and programs. So thank you to everything the Canadian Language Museum does.
Our next award is for Professional Partner of the Year. The Professional Partner of the Year award is presented to partner organizations that have shared knowledge, experience, expertise, and/or technology, which has in turn enabled MCIS to provide language services with higher quality, efficiency, or cost effectiveness. This year, the Professional Partner of the Year award goes to 3 organizations: the City of Calgary, Translation Bureau, and Cantalk. Judy, our Director of Client Services, will present these awards and say a few words about
them. City of Calgary first? Yes. Okay. I'm honored to present the Professional Partner of the Year award to City of Calgary. We've been working with the city since 2018, starting with the provision of immediate telephone services to City of Calgary Police Service, and we have since expanded the services to add translation and scheduled interpretation services. We're proud to work with the city because they measure their success as an organization based on how well the entire organization provides quality public service to the citizens of Calgary, and we're glad to say we assist them in achieving that. Their purpose is making life better every day. They believe a great city needs collaborative vision, and a great public service needs a collective commitment. They're strategically aligned to execute as one and deliver successful outcomes for residents, businesses, and employees. We're proud to be trusted by the City of Calgary as their partner for language access and contribute to this great vision through our services. And based on my experience working with them in the past 4 years, I can say that they live their mission and vision, and they're all about collaboration to work towards the greater good. Congratulations, City of Calgary. Can Talk. I'm honored to call Can Talk our professional partner of the year, mainly because we have been working together for several years, and I have always been amazed by their commitment to providing excellent service, and I know providing more than 200 languages at a moment's notice is not easy. Even though our working relationship started 11 years ago, Can Talk has been in existence for 27 years. At Can Talk, they understand language, culture, and dialects, and they're backed by many years of cultural and language service delivery experience in many formats and venues. Can Talk was the first Canadian company to provide immediate over-the-phone interpretation, which is invaluable to providing emergency language access to different communities MCIS serves. Their vision is to improve relationships, help businesses compete globally, and assist individuals across diverse cultures and languages attain equitable access to services and products, thereby enhancing cultural and linguistic respect, which aligns with our mission of improving access to critical information and services through high-quality language solutions. Congratulations, Karen. Last but not least, I'm pleased to present the Professional Partner of the Year Award to Translation Bureau, because Translation Bureau is the center of excellence in linguistic services for the Government of Canada, and of course, we're proud to be their trusted partner. Established in 1934, the Translation Bureau is a special operating agency of Public Services and Procurement Canada. It supports the Government of Canada and its efforts to communicate with the service Canadians in its 2 official languages, Indigenous languages, foreign languages, as well as sign languages. Translation Bureau also plays a leadership role in the various spheres of federal government activities and increasingly stands out in the Canadian language industry as a leader in language technologies due to its innovative culture. Our partnership with Translation Bureau started in 2015 and has since grown, evolved, and strengthened over the years. We're constantly motivated to achieve higher levels of excellence as a result of working with Translation Bureau, and we look forward to continuing to deepen that relationship in the future. Congratulations to Translation Bureau.
And finally, we have the Strategic Partner of the Year Award. The Strategic Partner of the Year Award is presented to partner organizations that have collaborated with NCIS through mutually beneficial initiatives, which advances NCIS's capabilities in further reaching its beneficiaries through expansion and development of its language services. The Strategic Partner of the Year Award this year goes to 2 organizations, Social Purpose Institute and PROS. Nicole, our Policy Outreach and Social Purpose Specialist, will present the award to the Social Purpose Institute. Veronica, I am corrected, will present the award to the Social Purpose Institute. And Lester, the Director of Marketing and Business Development, will follow with his presentation to PROS.
So we've been mentioning this new social purpose that we have articulated, and so it comes as no surprise that one of the recipients of the award for Strategic Partner of the Year is the United Way Social Purpose Institute. They have been our trusted guide and critical friend along the journey of articulating our social purpose, and will continue to guide our work as we embark on the journey of embedding it into everything that we do. The United Way Social Purpose Institute exists to grow business for good, partnering with companies and collaborating with governments, allied organizations, and others to grow the social purpose business movement. They help organizations like MCIS define and implement their social purpose to drive both business growth and societal good. They are champions of a purpose-led economy, accelerating the new business ethic to create long-term well-being for all. They are thought leaders, creating and curating insights and knowledge to define the transition pathway to the purpose-led economy. They are playing a pivotal role in bringing to life the social purpose ecosystem in Canada that MCIS is so honored to be a part of. So a big thank you to the Social Purpose Institute for guiding us on the path to a better way of doing business.
Hi, my name is Lester Corbally, and what do you guys think about the hosts tonight? Aren't they doing a fantastic job, Alana and Jack? Excellent, and one more special call out tonight. I met some friends from London, Ontario. A full table right here. They came out for this event. Thank you, it means a lot to us, and I hope you're having a great night. I want to talk about ProZ, a real great partner. We started doing business with them 3 years ago. They're basically one of the biggest networks out there for translators. They help people find work, they train. They've expanded now the network to interpreters as well. But we were extremely fortunate where in Canada, we love quality, like the quality the London interpreters bring for HMMS. We create a caliber of, I'd say, interpreter that we're hoping, catches on and brings the quality that our clients deserve. And that comes through training. We want to make sure that we have true professionals that go out there. And we're not the only ones with that perspective. We have partners like ProZ who saw what we're doing here in Canada with our training. And we've got a great training team that puts together a variety of different courses online, or also when it's not COVID period, we do them in class. But they wanted to work with us, partner with us, to start promoting some of this training online in the US. And eventually we thought, okay, this is great, we'll work with them. We did some co-branding on training, so they brought on board translation training, interpreter training, and now in the past year, they brought on some of the smaller courses, core competency courses, as well as we're looking at putting an assessment type of test in place for their interpreters. So it's great working with them. They're a strong partner. They're looking to partner with us further and expand globally, which is the great news. So I'd love to thank our friends at Syracuse, New York for this great opportunity, giving us this great audience. ProZ, once again, I wish to thank them for this opportunity. Thank you.
Congratulations to all our partners. Now, before we get to our staff milestone anniversary awards, we would like to take a moment for everyone to get familiar with our full-time staff at MCIS. We're going to show you a few slides of our teams. Keep in mind that these slides are current to the end of fiscal year 2021. But please join us in giving a round of applause for each of our functional teams at MCIS. So let's move right along to our very special Staff Milestone Awards. Now, the awards that we just went through, of course, none of the recipients could be here. Partially is because of COVID making travel difficult, but also it's testament to our expansion beyond Toronto's borders. But let's get to some awards where the recipients are here. So these awards are presented to long-standing staff members who have been with MCIS for milestone anniversary years.
Okay, so first up, I would like to invite Veronica to present the 5-year milestone award to Deanna Nemeth and present a few words if you have them.
So, dear Deanna, I have to say that when I kind of realized I have to do this, my first thought was, wait, 5 years? Is that right? Because honestly, 5 years just seemed too little to contain all the great things you have contributed to MCIS, all the good laughs, all the good cries, all the memories we share. You know, the Halloween costumes, the midnight trip to the airport to welcome a flight of Syrian refugees, the conferences we attended together, the proposals that we worked on together, the drinks, the laughs, the birthday cakes, the snowstorms and the soccer games. And while I remember your first weeks with us quite clearly, it also feels like you've always been here because you truly embody so much of what makes MCIS MCIS. But your passion, your professionalism, your commitment to excellence, your integrity, and most of all, your kindness. So it's no secret that I was thrilled when at the end of last year, we got the opportunity to work even closer together. Thank you so much for being you, for all you bring to MCIS. It's an honor and a pleasure working with you.
Thank you so much. Next, let's invite Nicole to present the next 2 5-year milestone awards to our lovely Diane Brouvet and Louis Lebrec.
It's such a pleasure to have Louis and Deanne on the team. They play a huge role in making sure that all of the French translations that we're putting out, delivering to clients, are top quality. So they definitely make my job easier because our clients are happy thanks to them. They're both incredibly hardworking individuals with amazing attention to detail and dedication to the job. So I just wanted to congratulate them both for celebrating 5 years with MCIS. It's amazing and look forward to many more years of having you on the team.
Next, I'd like to ask Judy to come up to the stage to present the 10-year milestone award to Stella Constanza. Judy, please accept the award on Stella's behalf.
I am again here to present something to myself. So what can I say about Stella? I think the best way to describe Stella is she's a rock in the interpretation department. She's my rock. She's been everyone's rock. She's been amazing during the height of COVID, during the easing of the restrictions of COVID. She has been amazing and she continues to do so. I don't really have enough words to describe Stella, so I actually asked a few people, how do you describe Stella? So I'll just tell you the few words that were thrown about Stella. Someone said she's a busy bee. She's always in one project or another. She keeps herself really, really busy, maybe over busy, but really busy. She's dedicated. She's loved by her teams. She's the best coach. She's an amazing leader. She's dynamic. She's steadfast, and many more. So congratulations, Stella, for 10 years and many more.
And Lata, can you please come to the stage to present the 15-year milestone awards? I was gonna say, Judy, don't run away too far now. Okay, so the first 15-year milestone award goes to Anila Radovica.
All these folks are such good friends. All of you are, but these are really special. Anila, it's hard to forget when I remember her as a bright and courageous young woman, somewhat tentative and shy because she had just entered Canada and spoke little English. I'm so happy to see her growth into a consummate professional who's caring, competent, and diligent, working on our finance team to keep it humming. And we have the best team, I have to say. Thanks, Alex. She has journeyed through MCIS's ups and downs with me, and it is very comforting to have such a wonderful colleague weathering those storms by your side. Thank you for so generously giving to MCIS and to me personally, Anila.
And the next 15-year milestone award goes to Anjum Baktula. Anjum is out of the country, so she can't be with us tonight, but Lata's gonna go ahead and say something lovely anyways.
And Judy is once again going to come and receive her award. So Anjum is part of our interpretation services team. She went through a very harrowing month upon landing in Canada from India with her husband and 2 daughters. And I still recall the day she landed in our office. She had been working as a manager in a bank in India and was starting all over in a new country under extremely dire circumstances. But MCIS was so lucky to spot her talent, and we hired her instantly. Anjum's commitment to excellence and accuracy in her work is unmatched. She's also very well liked for her diplomacy and her willingness to help all her colleagues in the interpretation services team. And I'm so proud that Anjum's 2 daughters are both top of their line professionals in Canada today, and she is truly an immigrant success story. Thank you, Anjum.
And finally, yes, the last 15-year milestone award goes to Judy Abraham, and here's Lata.
Judy finally gets what she deserves. This is the only one that she deserves. Judy is truly the wise one. She has gone through so many incarnations at MCIS, and I'm proud to say now that she's the director of the client services team. Judy's gift is her temperament, her patience, her willingness to stay open and to listen to everyone. She has boundless compassion for all and is among the most popular members of the MCIS team. It has been my great joy to see her grow as a leader from her beginnings as one of our language professionals, right, Judy? Yes. So thank you so much, and I wish all the 3 and all of you who are part of the MCIS family the very best in your career at MCIS and in your personal lives. Thank you. I want to give a special thanks to this amazing woman, our ASL interpreter, who has worked so hard and done a fantastic job. So a good round of applause for her.
I have to say I feel accomplished today.
Okay, we hope that everyone is still with us here. We're getting to a close eventually. But next up is Tally Cosman, our final performer for the night. Born in Mexico City and a resident of London, Ontario since 2004. Tally Cosman is a professional for Spanish and Hebrew interpretation and translation. She is a coach and counselor and an accordionist, entrepreneur, and performer that has contributed in cultural, musical, and festival productions that celebrate Latin American culture like Fiesta London, Mexican Fiesta, and CALA, Canadian Latin American Association. She promotes Mexican, South American, and international music through her accordion performing wherever there is a chance to do so. Welcome, Tally.
Bear with me, I have to set up the microphones.
Everyone, I don't know.
Good evening. I'm originally from Mexico, so my favorite music is Mexican. And wow, it's party time. You can sing, you can dance, because wherever Mexicans are, we transform any event into fiesta. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Tony, for that amazing concert. And the time has come to end tonight's festivities. MCIS would like to congratulate all the award winners, as well as all of you here tonight. And thank you for spending your evening with us. Special thanks to our keynote speakers, our board, and all the performers. It's been an exciting night. And of course, we have a very special thanks to our ASL interpreter, Cindy. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll see you next year.
还有一个全新的嘛，然后
I took several ones for
Okay,
you
great,
to
thank you.
yes. So I just want to pull over there and say goodbye to Jack and then I'll come back.
Oh, yeah.
Back to you.